Exists an island where nature has unleashed such a dramatic scene that you may have never witnessed anything like it before. Yet satellites have captured every moment of this spectacle. Whether it's the wreckage of a plane deep inside Siberia's dense forests, the mystery behind a perfectly square formation in the middle of the Sahara Desert, or thousands of colorful wells along a remote Somali coastline. Our planet is packed with such astonishing and hidden places that we can't even see from the ground. Today, we uncover 10 such secret locations and try, as always, to explain the strange phenomena behind them. Welcome back to another exciting video from Zim Voice. Let's begin with the first extraordinary island. Roughly 1,200 kilometers southeast of Japan lies a tiny landmass in the Pacific Ocean known as Iwo Jima. During World War II, this island witnessed fierce battles between Japan and the United States, the traces of which can still be found scattered around. But what we want to show you is something far more intriguing. When you look at the 2005 satellite imagery on Google Earth, you'll notice what appears to be rocks in the water about 200 meters off the western coastline. But in the latest satellite images, the sea seems to have receded, revealing that those rocks were actually shipwrecks. Over the last 20 years, ships once submerged 200 meters from the shore are now fully exposed on dry land. These were U.S. Navy vessels destroyed during the 1945 battle. But here's the real puzzle. While global warming is causing sea levels to rise everywhere, why is the sea level around Iwo Jima dropping? I'll leave that question for you to answer in the comments. Why is this happening on Iwo Jima? Moving on to the next location. In Russia's far northeast, deep within the barren Siberian wilderness, flows the Olenyok River. Near its banks lies an oxbow lake, once part of the river itself. Zoom in near this lake and you'll spot the wreckage of an aircraft hidden among the trees. Satellite images show that the plane crashed through the forest canopy during an emergency landing. The aircraft appears to be a twin-engine Antonov An-30. According to the Bureau of Aircraft Accidents Archives, on June 2nd, 2022, an AN-30 took off from Kayub's airport bound for Olenyok with 6.5 tons of cargo and a crew of 7. But just 15 kilometers before reaching Olenyok, it ran out of fuel, causing both engines to shut down. The pilot had no choice but to attempt an emergency landing in the forest. Luckily, all crew members survived. However, the damage was so severe that the plane was beyond repair. If you compare photos taken right after the crash with satellite images, you can even spot the missing tail elevators lying near the impact point. South of New Zealand lies a remote island called the Auckland Island. Right next to it sits another island with a rather unusual name, Disappointment Island. But why such a depressing name? Research shows that in the 18th and 19th centuries, this part of the Pacific was a hotspot for whaling ships from England that ventured toward the Antarctic. After months at sea, crews ran low on food, wood, and supplies. So when they spotted this lush-looking island from afar, they hoped to restock and recover. But after traveling hundreds of miles, what they found was nothing but harsh reality. No lakes, no springs, no trees, no food, and extremely violent winds that made survival almost impossible. Every sailor who landed here returned deeply disappointed, and that's how the island earned its name. And let's head towards China. In the northwestern Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, a massive facility lies in the middle of endless desert. But what's shocking is not the facility itself, but two gigantic structures beside it. At first glance, they appear to be huge rocks, each nearly the size of a football field, casting their shadows across the sand. But when you analyze the shadows of surrounding objects, you realize they don't match. The truth, these aren't rocks at all, but two enormous sinkholes. Historical satellite images reveal that these sinkholes are newly formed, but the reason behind their creation remains unknown. To witness the raw power of nature, few places compare to Spain's La Palma Island. Located a few hundred kilometers off the West African coast, these islands fall under Spanish administration. La Palma itself is home to about 100,000 people. When you look at the satellite image from August 17, 2021, everything appears normal. But just 2 days later, on August 19th, a volcano erupted violently, transforming the entire region. Entire towns were buried under thick volcanic ash, and to this day, many areas remain completely buried. In the vast Arabian desert of Saudi Arabia, hundreds of kilometers away from civilization, lies a mysterious square formation in the sand, measuring roughly 400 meters across. One side seems to have an entrance-like opening, hinting that someone may have lived or worked here long ago. There's no historical satellite data for this exact spot, but zooming out, blurry older imagery shows that in 2007, there were structures or large camps within this square. Just a year earlier, however, the area was completely empty. So whatever this was, it was built in 2007. Judging by vehicle tracks, it was likely set up by an oil exploration team. Such teams often dig around their camps to block desert creatures and snakes from entering. A little further away, another similar square formation exists, also active only in 2007. Now let's travel to the Lake Oroville area in the United States. In 2021, a severe drought hit California, causing Lake Oroville to dry up significantly. As the water receded, objects long hidden underwater began to reappear. In one spot, where the water used to be 65 feet deep, the May 30th, 2021 satellite image shows an overturned SUV. A highway passes near this area with a sharp bend, suggesting that the vehicle may have once fallen off the road, sunk into the lake, and only resurfaced decades later when the water vanished. Along the Somali coast, you'll find thousands of circular pits across the landscape. Each well is about 10 meters wide, filled with colorful water. Research reveals these are not natural formations. Local communities dug these wells for two reasons. 1. To trap groundwater in place before it spreads inland and becomes contaminated by seawater. 2. To extract salt, which they later sell. Thanks to the hot climate, these wells act like natural salt evaporation ponds. Shown next is a satellite image from a Ukrainian airbase in 2023. The aircraft is a Tupolev Tu-95 strategic bomber. Strangely, its wings and fuselage appear covered with large black circles. But if you compare it with images from a year earlier, Those markings were not there. The explanation lies in the early days of the Russia-Ukraine war. Those black circles are actually old rubber car tires placed on the aircraft for optical camouflage. When drones with automated detection systems scan the area, the irregular reflections from rubber distort the aircraft's digital outline, making it harder for drones or missiles to identify it. And finally, what's a list of mysterious satellite locations without mentioning the Sahara Desert? Deep within its remote dunes lies a stunning geological formation, captured in 2013. It looks like the exposed remains of an ancient volcano, its crater or magma chamber now visible on the surface. For hundreds of years, it has shown no volcanic activity. We hope you enjoyed this Zimbus video. Don't forget to like and share. Your supportive comments mean the world to us. See you in the next amazing video.